Chemistry quiz.
I have Spanish quiz.
And then another
And I didn't
quiz.
study at all for our Spanish quiz. On the beat vocabulary, all we have is
Oh.
worksheets. You know what I love about beat vocabulary? I'll tell you.
Alright, focus on a little bit on that math now. Alright, so possible answers.
Okay.
Always gonna be plus or minus. Then we're gonna make a fraction. What goes on the top?
2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Where'd you get those numbers? Factors of what? Factors of the last number. Go on the top. So 1, 2, 3, and 6. Then factors of what go on the bottom? The first one. So that is 1 and 2. How many answer choices, or how many answers will we have?
11.
What? No. How many?
8.
No, how many actual answers will we have?
Oh, 3. I didn't hear how many like possible.
No. How many actual answers will we have? 3. Where'd you get that? The degree. The biggest exponent. Alright, so now to do is, I've already given you one answer, so because I knew you wouldn't necessarily have a calculator to grab. So, we're going to take -2, put that in a box. Then we'll say 2, -3, -11, 6.
I didn't understand what that X out there meant. That was throwing me off.
Well, I meant for you to use it, but you're ready to change the direction. Alright, bring that to 2. -2 times 2 is -4. And that's -7. That's a good voice. +14.
Pardon the interruption, I'm so sorry to interrupt your class. Every teacher needs to come out today and sign payroll during your planning or right after school. Every single teacher needs to come by the office and sit in Langston and sign payroll. Thank you.
What?
You look like you got nervous when she said everything.
Well, normally she doesn't say that.
Well, now she did.
Alright, so we know 2 is an answer, but you knew that right off the bat. So then this tells us what? Alright, what the factor?
What's your quadratic?
It's our new quadratic. So remember, in this case, if you start with a 3, an x cubed, then the first number is going to be x squared. So I have 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. And we want to factor that. So to factor it, there's 2 ways you can do it. I'll show you the one that I've taught 99% of the time. Factor by grouping. Because there's a number out front, we're going to take the 2, multiply it times the 3. What do we get?
6.
6. So we're looking for, we're just worried about the numbers, but yes, it would have been 6x squared. We're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 6, add the -7.
6 and 1?
6 and 1? Yeah.
Negative 6
They're both negative though, but yeah, 6 and 1. So I'll have 2x squared minus 6x minus x plus 3. Yep, group. Now look, I always say make sure you put this parenthesis in front of the sign that goes with the third number. Then it helps factor in a lot better. So the first group, I'm going to take out a 2x. I'm left with x minus 3. The next one, I'm going to take out a -1. Why did I take out a -1 rather than just a 1? Alright, okay. But what needs to look the same?
The inside.
The inside. If I just pull out a +1, then it would not have worked. Then group the 2 numbers on the outside together, so 2x minus 1, and rewrite those. And there we go. So x, our other 2 x's equal 1/2 and 3. Alright, now, I think I might have shown you this before, but it's quicker to do it the way I'm about to show it to you than factor by group. But it's something else you have to remember. we do the same thing. I have my 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals 0. I'm still going to take 2 and multiply it by 3, so what do I get? 6. And you told me that the two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to negative 7 are negative 6 and 1. Negative 1. So I would just do it exactly like I have in the past. If just like that 2 wasn't there. Make sense? But now I have to account for the 2. So I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 2. So that gives me x minus 3, x minus 1/2. Well, that's the same thing if I just change the sign. Depends on what you want. The key here, though, is you have to remember to divide by whatever that number is after you get the two numbers that multiply to 6 and add the negative 7. What else you got? In general? Let's do... Let's do 2. We'll walk through. All right, 2. We got. Oh, I changed it. X to the third minus 2x squared minus x plus 2. All right. So let's start and pretend we don't know that negative 1 is an answer. Alright? So let's just start by finding our possible solutions. Possible rational answers, by the way. Sorry. To do that, what goes on the top? Well, first, plus or minus. Always plus or minus. Then, I want the factors of what to go on the top? The last number. Alright, the number without an x. So 2. So it's going to be 1 and 2. Factors of what go in the front? Go on the bottom. The number in the front. The first number. The number that, well, in that case, it's just 1. So now, you don't have to list one out at all, but what this says is this is saying I would take plus or minus 1 and divide it by 1. So I'll get plus or minus 1, and then plus or minus 2. So in this problem, there are only 4 possible answers. For this one, there are a lot more to choose from. Now remember, at this point, I would go to the calculator, I would graph it and see which one to pick. But I gave you x plus 1, so I know that one of my x's is negative 1. Just the way that I wrote it. So I'm going to take, so this is like, I graphed it, I saw that x equals negative 1, so that's the one I'm going to try first. And so then I'm going to take this, I'm going to take negative 1, and divide everything by it. So bring down the 1, negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. That's negative 3. I don't know why I put the positive 2 over there, but negative 1 times negative 3 is 3. Add down to get 2. Negative 2, so we get 0. So again, we just proved what we just found, that we already knew. Remember, you want to get a 0 here for this to be an x value of our answer. So like if you're guessing checking, which I hope we don't do, if you get any other number, then that's not one I go to whatever my next number is. Now this tells me the coefficients of my new quadratic. I just drop this by 1 and start. So it'll be 1x squared minus 3x plus 2. And I want to solve that. This one's nicer, it doesn't have a number out front of the x squared. So it's just gonna be our normal, what two numbers multiply to add to negative 3. Negative 2 and negative 1. So for this one, it's just x minus 2, x minus 1, and then we change the sign so x equals 1 and 2. So I say this jokingly, for this one, unless you're a really bad guesser, you had a pretty good shot at least getting one right the first time. Does that help? But on the test, just use a calculator to find that first one, and then it goes pretty smoothly from there.
Can you just do like a factoring problem that's like the one I look for? Because I just messed up my factoring, you know. when
Let me
it's
see
like-
it. I didn't have I have the answer on the notes. For number 4?
Like that, I mean,
Oh, similar to that one?
yeah, just like,
That I've got to look up. Factoring is about one of the few things that is hard to
I
just come up with.
factoring.
Factoring with plus x minus 2. 6x squared plus x minus 2. Alright. So either way, I'm going to start by multiplying 6 times negative 2. What does that give me? Negative 12. So I want two numbers to multiply to negative 12 and add to 1. 4 negative 3. So, the grouping way, I can do 6x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 2. If you had swapped them and put 3x and then, or sorry, minus 3x and plus 4, that would have been fine. It'll still work out the same in the end. So for this first one, I'm going to factor out a 2. 2x, I'm left with 3x plus 2. The next one, what do I factor out? Negative 1, I'm left with 3x plus 2. From this point, these need to be the same. If you are, we're good to go. If not, we got to go back and see what we messed up. So then I can put these together in one set of parentheses. So 2x minus 1, and then just rewrite whatever is in the parentheses. 3x plus 2. Set them both equal to 0 and solve. So I would add 1, divide by 2 to get x equals 1/2. For this one, I would subtract 2 and then divide by 3, so negative 2/3. Again, if you want to see it the other way, I still have the same thing. I'm still multiplying the negative 12. We decided, oh, I'm going to get 4 and negative 3. So I will take, so I do, what is it, x plus 4, x minus 3. All right, these are two separate things. Separate ways of factoring using the same problem. But now, what number is out front? 6. I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 6. That gives me x plus 2/3, x minus 1/2, correct? Well, if I'm still setting these equal to 0, then I just add it over. So x minus 2/3, or sorry, equals negative 2/3, x equals 1/2. The key here is remember that you have to divide by the number out, the leading coefficient. Because it goes a lot quicker, you just gotta remember the leading coefficient. Alright. We good? Alright, remind me with a couple minutes left in class and I'll check the homework. Alright, today, we're just going through, I've been looking for just general ACT tips for the math section and overall, just kind of help us out. Now I know some of y'all are taking it Saturday, but for the most part, well, let me rephrase that. Every junior's taking it here in April. Alright, so let's just go through, and this is a lot. I understand it's a whole bunch of information. But bear with me. And then tomorrow, I have a feeling we won't get done with all of it today, so we'll start with it tomorrow, and then we'll just practice for Wednesday and the rest of Wednesday and Friday.
Can you tell us our testers?
Yes. Remind me that.
Will you give me the ACT?
Come back and come out at 4. Alright. Don't take it like a normal test. Alright, a normal test, especially for math and science, your teacher wants to know if you know it and how you got there, correct? The ACT doesn't care about that. They're just looking at answer choices A, B, C, D, and E. You laugh, but it's true. They don't care. They don't care how you get the answer. They just want you to get it right. So don't think about it like that.
Can I look at your scrap paper?
No.
You need to turn it in like
You turn it in so you don't,
Or like cherry.
yeah, or say like, so people don't go in and just pay for the test and write down every question.
Why is it that you have, that math has 5 answer choices and all the other stuff has like 4?
I never noticed that.
Percentages.
It ticks me off.
It's because if you guess, you have a lower chance of getting it right.
Yeah, I know, that's why everyone makes it up.
But I'm going to help you with that today.
Science is the
Hopefully.
hardest stuff.
Alright, this one, use a digital watch.
They won't let you use Apple Watches.
Yeah, the old like digital watch that came out in like 1980 before all of us were born.
Make sure it doesn't be, you won't get thrown out.
Come on, charge my Fitbit and wear it.
Yeah, the digital watch is just, it's easier to track your time. Alright, because some of the tips say you have certain time frames for completing portions of the test or reading passages or certain questions. It's just easier with a digital watch to do the math quickly rather than looking up at the clock and doing all that stuff. Or the clock might not be in a good spot. The clock might be behind you or the side or somewhere where you can't see. Or you might not even have a clock, which I don't think is legal.
I wish,
It may have been like.
I think you're required to have a clock.
I wish your time would like roll over from each section. Like if you got done with English in 15 minutes.
That would be a game changer right there.
I would make so
Yeah, I
much
know,
better.
I would make better too.
I think they should just give you the certain amount of time, like
Like,
add all of the,
Give me the 4 hours.
All the sections together.
yeah, and then you can just go where
Cause
it's
I would do like, the
I
one
would
you
do
get
math,
reacted, I would do 10 of math, cause I can't stand doing math and science.
Oh, yeah, you can't spell.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
Tip 4, have a time,
That's different.
tip 3, management plan. And that's in above me because that's capitalized in this one. Alright, so like I said, for each section, there are different time frames for each one. For the English, It's about 9 minutes a passage.
There's no way.
I think that's too much.
Well, it's 9 minutes per passage, and then to answer all the questions.
I always finish my English, but I usually cannot finish my reading.
I can't finish reading.
For the reading, it's about 8:45.
Yeah, that's why I can't finish it.
Yeah,
I can't even read the
Don't-
passage.
Okay.
I
Don't
don't
read
know how.
it. Do not read the passage.
All right.
I'll read the passage.
One thing for the reading in English, use your finger. If you follow your finger and move it a little quicker than you normally would just read it by just sitting there, you can actually get through it quicker.
Like, read your ancient verses first, always.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it'll
right.
say
That
like online, so and so, what does this word mean? So you can go back and finish all this like that.
I do all those first.
All right, science is a little
Terrible.
tricky because there are three big types of problems. You've got the main ones, so about 5 minutes for your non-conflicting viewpoints.
Whoever
It's
goes
so
to
hard.
strategies in science and
Viewpoints.
I wish you would do that forever.
he said like if you just read the first like the introduction passage, and then read the
And then-
you have experiment 1 first. Read
A
that,
little
and
less
then answer questions back to
for, there's a little more. A little less for the data representation, so all the charts and tables representation. And a little more for the conflicting viewpoint questions.
Those are the hardest. Because they say this person did this, and they have nothing to do with each other. And you don't know what's
The
wrong.
graphs don't make sense. Like the way they don't. And
I just guess. I always make the best in
I
science,
think
but I don't
just
know how
have,
to
I think I have
guess.
test anxiety, I need a dog.
And you did dog.
Yeah.
When I took it, there was one about blood types, and it was just squiggly lines all over a graph, and it just blew my mind. I just didn't know.
Well,
You usually can't
it
overthink it.
always
You just gotta have
says,
to.
I think that's another one somewhere in here.
yeah, it always says all these humongous scientific words that don't even matter. Like,
Yeah,
it's
like
just-
you don't have to even know what the word means.
Like, really, all you have to know is that.
Yeah, data representation is essentially can you pick off numbers from a graph or a chart?
Well, if I can't read the chart, then that looks like a
Well, it depends
I
on
had a chart about digging a ditch, and it was like a ditch, and that was my chart.
I just hate the writing.
All right, we've done this before. I mean, we've done this.
I'm not kidding.
I hate it. Because your mind is blown and then you're just rocking. It's really not that
Use the authentic ACT practice test. So that's what the ones we use. The ones that I print out and give to you are the ones that the ACT releases every year.
Like the old test or-
It's a version of the old test, yes.
I have ACT test prep from then, but I didn't do it this one.
bad. Can't you like buy your test?
Yeah,
I did
That's another one that's on here somewhere.
I-
Oh, it's the next one.
I
My
bought
mom
mine
made me
this
buy
time.
mine.
With the data analysis and stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You just pay $20 to get your test back. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like they send you your test back.
With the right answers on it, but still.
Yeah. Does it show you your work and stuff too?
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's just like you get your answer key back with your answer in the right answer.
Yeah,
And your
Bring
book
that
with
to me when you get
and
it.
you have to like,
We'll
I'll
go
go back
through it.
and fix it or whatever, so it's just.
Maggie, bring that to me
Okay.
and we'll go through it.
It'll be a few weeks before I get it.
I didn't know y'all too. I knew Brooklyn got one. I didn't know y'all got one though.
I didn't know you could.
I got one like the second or third time, second time I think my.
This will be the
You
fourth
have
time
it?
I've taken my ACT.
Bring
I have to find it.
You gotta
I
get
know, I just wanna see what it
back.
is.
I
You couldn't do that when I took it.
It's like the exact, it's my booklet.
I know, but you like, but doesn't it goes
That's
through
where you
and,
wrote in your book.
So where you wrote your book is there.
yeah, I wanna see what that looks like.
Yeah, this is the
When I
fourth
worked
time
at
I've
Bound
taken my
Base, it
ACT.
didn't
Let's
make
hope
sense.
not.
I don't want
I started writing very.
Alright, here we go. Now, I think what the list that I got this from, this said like, try to find the special ACT dates.
What's a special?
And that's like, I think a while ago when they first implemented it, there were only 3 test dates a year that you could order that item analysis. But now I think it's all of them,
Oh, because I want to make more money.
probably.
It's like $20 to buy.
Yeah, I know. Even with my little fee waiver, I still had to pay like $30 for my ACT.
But now I think it's all the time. Alright, in general, the ACT, it's a difficult test, but read a lot outside of school. Magazines, newspaper articles,
Everyday research.
whatever. If you read a lot, you're going to be more accustomed to the bigger wording that they use. Because most magazines, newspaper articles, they use the higher level wording to make it look nice and all that stuff. It'll also develop your reading speed. As you read, just like as you do anything else, the more you practice something, the quicker you should be able to do it. Alright. Then, for the last couple, it goes through each section. So for the English, right? Yeah. The English section, less is more. They love to be concise. So that's usually what they're trying to do. They're trying not to do anything fancy. They're trying to use fancy words just so that it's more concise rather than stringing it out. For the math, the big thing is be ready to use answer choices and random numbers.
Okay, I have a question. What kind of calculator do you think I should bring? Should I bring one of your pink calculators? Should I bring
What kind of calculator do you have?
Oh, can I borrow a pink calculator? Because it let me see if I can work with it.
Yeah. Friday, I'll let y'all just write the number that you get on the board so I know where they all are.
Yeah, because Nicole took my calculator and I really don't know where it is.
Nicole has one of my calculators and I don't know where it
I
is.
would think it
Alright, so while she's looking, reading. Now, for the reading part,
I have a TI 30.
you got 30.
Should I bring graphing calculator?
I always use the graphing ones just because every now and then you get a graphing question that you can stick in there and do it quick.
I don't like the graphic calculators, don't know how to use them. I'd rather just use mine.
Well, I get wrong for my calculator and go over. They get them wrong.
That's your calculator, right?
Yeah, I think
Alright.
that's what they're going.
We want to read each passage in about 3 minutes. Not complete it, but read it. Now, I know the earlier said 8:45 a passage. That's just in general. If you get about 3 minutes, that gives you time to read it, answer it, and then at the end, go back to any questions that you skipped. And then for the science, use fingers to keep track of relevant information.
How about underline stuff? If I read reading all that, I'll go through and underline.
I think that works about the same. So that's just in general for each section, what to think about. The big one is don't take it like a normal test. Don't try to answer every question. Like in math, don't try to actually solve out every question. Now that's what we're inclined to do, but don't do it.
And don't be scared to guess.
Yeah,
I
that's-
used to be scared because I was like, I need to work it out because I didn't know what the answer. Sometimes you just.
Alright, so I'm gonna leave this up here all day. And the next couple of minutes. Alright, now the rest is just for the math portion. Alright, the rest that we'll finish today and tomorrow are just math. So time management for the math part. First, get to and attempt every problem. I guess hopefully that's a no-brainer, but obviously if you get to every problem, you have a chance of getting it right. You want to get to the last couple of problems because they do like to sneak in a few easy questions at the end.
And then I overthink it because I think it's
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I'll like do the test and I can't figure out how to do the problem, and after I think about it, I'm like, that was so easy, and I just couldn't figure it out.
Alright, this is going to sound weird, but take the test twice. What I mean by that, the first time you take it, just do the easy ones. So skip questions you don't know, or will take time to answer. So if you read a question, you know it immediately, you know how to do it immediately, work on it. If you don't know how to do it immediately, or you think it'll take some time, skip it and come back. What?
So I know the first 10.
The last one, they were all like word problems. I had to skip
Yeah,
like
I know. I
all
just
of them
skipped the
except
whole
for
word.
You did like 5 problems.
Go back.
That is not my turn.
Go back. The second time, go back to those questions. Again,
I had a dream about Jared and Brady Cagle last night.
oh, that's the one.
Yes. I really. Jared was like, hey bro, it's game day. Yeah bro, we're gonna do that dub. Yeah bro. That's all it was. They were like acting like talking like circle people. Something weird was going on.
Well, I drove with Eli Brady and killed Hunter Payne the other night.
Wow.
I don't know how.
Wow.
I've been to Eli Brown tonight for this.
Alright.
Yeah,
Spend less time on the first half than the second half. Like y'all said, the first half of the test is normally the easy. Normally goes easy, medium, hard. So spend less time on the first half, more time on the second half. And with that thought process, this is really what, if you want to narrow it down, you really have a time management thing. You want to aim for 25, 27, and 8. What that means is 25 minutes for the first 30 questions, 27 minutes for the second 30, and then 8 minutes to go back to skipped questions.
Did you see number 1 and number 25 and the rest of the whole local team